Well, welcome in there, fun seekers, lucky people that you are. Yes, indeed, it is a Wednesday. The third day in the month of May, 1989. And you really are lucky today. I'll tell you why in a second. Yesterday we tried something that, a short monologue, a one-word monologue, and just simply gave out the phone numbers, and it worked fairly well. I was pleased with it, and Michael was pleased with it, Michael's wife was pleased with it, even my wife was pleased with it. And so therefore we're going to do it again. Now, I had decided that I was going to do it on a certain word today. I was just going to do what I did yesterday, give the word, give the telephone numbers, and sit back and see what happened. But at the last minute, there has been a substitution. You see, I was going to do it with the word America. But forget that, because sitting there, waiting to come on this afternoon, sitting there in the lavish green room here at J-Corps Broadcast Central, I overheard a call on the web show that my technical operations director tells me that was not the only call of that kind today, which has caused me to change the word from America to one of my favorite words, probably one of your favorites as well. Probably the most provocative word in the entire English language. Certainly in the Tampa Bay area, anyway. You are blessed today with the opportunity to respond one way or the other to the word, are you sitting down? Perhaps many of you had better sit down. And come to think of it, not only should you sit down, but maybe you had better grasp the arms of your chair. And actually, I guess those of you over the age of 55, just to be on the safe side so that we, don't run into any litigation here, those of you over the age of 55, perchance, had better take some sedatives. Are you ready? The word today is, and remember, you can respond to this one way or the other. How many of you have already guessed it, huh? I wonder how many of you have already guessed it. Today's word is, it begins with a letter L. Okay? That's right, Lassiter. That's today's word. And I'll give you the telephone numbers, 461-9352, 461-WFLA. That would be in Pinellas County. 461-WFLA. There's Jim Knowles' call right now. Hillsborough, 990-9352, 990-WFLA. That is today's monologue. It simply consists of the word Lassiter. And since there are so many of you cowardly little folks out there, hello, Ted. Oh, Ted, it's Lassiter. I don't understand, a man that only does this and that. I don't understand, Ted. 990-9352 in Hillsborough. 461-9352 in Pinellas. I myself am very excited. Michael, who's now sitting there looking, like, why is he doing this, is the one who recommended it. And the Phenortner is starting to twinkle. There are twinkles actually on the Phenortner as we speak. One little twinkle there, two little twinkles. Whoops, there goes that twinkle. Let's try this here. Carolwood, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Yeah.
What a pleasure. I'm the first call, and I'm also a first-time caller.
Great.
And I'd like to say, Bob, you were a bit of a hero to me when I first came to Florida.
Uh-huh.
And I think back then you had a sense of humor.
Uh-huh.
You were a pleasure to listen to.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps I enjoyed calls with people like Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And since I started listening to you, I've never called you before.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I haven't enjoyed your show, just because I'm kind of like you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care that much. But I think that you've lost your sense of humor,
uh-huh.
and that is a tragedy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know when it happened, but that's my comment on Lassiter today.
Okay.
Care to respond?
No.
Fair enough. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bozo and Carol. Maybe that's why I lost my sense of humor, is when people like him started calling the show. Newport Richie, hi, New. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
It was a Monday that was Martin Luther King Day. He was still in the 12 to 3 slot.
Uh-huh.
And you were doing the show in which you were going over the book. The book had just come out, and you were talking about all the different stations and everything.
Yeah.
And it was coming into 2 o'clock break.
Mm-hmm.
That you had said something that no one ever picked up on, I noticed. And I thought it was very honest of you. But it also says a lot about your by you and everybody else in the profession, maybe everybody, is that you called yourself a whore. And then you continue to say, well, not just, I'm a whore and everybody else does this stupid business, crazy business, is a whore. I will do anything to get you to call. We'll do anything to, get the numbers.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I think it was honest. But I think it's accurate. And I don't mean that, it's your word, not mine. And it's funny, maybe that honesty just took some of the interest out of it. It just made it really obvious that it was just show business, or many times it is. And even in times when you are sincere, it makes me think back to when I heard you say that, and then I think, well, it's probably a gag, or it's probably just something to get the fnort or the twinkle. So that's all I had to say.
Oh, okay. What does that say, though?
What's that?
What does that say, though?
What does that say? It says that you often do have, I would assume, very honest indignation, a very honest anger, very honest compassion, very honest, feelings of those natures, okay? What tempers that is that you then say, you said in the past, I don't ever say I play devil's advocate.
That's right.
And I've been...
Now, wait a second. You see, you're playing devil's advocate is taking the other side just for the sake of having somebody take the other side.
Well, you do that every day almost.
I do not, sir. I'm sometimes very sarcastic, but I have never. I mean, I can't think of anything more disgusting than taking a position that you don't believe in just so there'll be somebody on the other side. I've never done that, and I never would.
It's within the same 5 minutes, okay, of 2 calls yesterday.
Yeah.
I still listen to you, Bob.
Yeah.
Gun. You have a guy come up that's a rabid gun control nut, and the other guy's a rabid gun nut.
Right.
You will equally treat each one of those to the other side of the issue.
No, I beg your pardon. When somebody says something stupid regardless...
Stupid or wrong or lying.
I was in the middle of a sentence.
I'm sorry?
When somebody says something stupid, regardless of which side they are on, I will correct them.
Or if you feel they're lying, you'll correct them.
That's right. That's not playing devil's advocate.
Okay. Some people would think that it was.
Well, those people are stupid then.
Because a second ago you just said to simply take the other side of an issue, right? I hear that sigh.
Yeah, you heard the sigh.
Okay, but you'll flip flop back and forth.
No, I don't flip flop, sir. You really offend me and piss me off when you use words like that.
Well,
I don't flip flop at all, sir. I have changed my mind occasionally on issues, but just because somebody is supposedly on my side of the issue, if they state something that isn't true. If I'm to maintain my credibility, I must point out when the people who are supposedly supporting me are also wrong or making it up as they're going along. That's not flip-flopping, sir.
When you ask someone a question, Bob, regarding, they'll come on with what they feel is a sincere opinion. And what you do constantly is you ask, it's almost like cite your sources, which you know that 99.9% of the people that call up are working off, even when they're not, they can't give you chapter and verse of an organization's name, a person's name, or a statistical, intellectually, you may know that what that person's trying to say. You will understand the position they're taking, okay?
Yeah.
And when you then jump on to how a person pronounces a word to make them sound stupid.
Well, I don't think I've done that 6 times in my life.
Okay. But when you say, things of that nature, that type of intellectual nitpicking.
No, it's not nitpicking. I can come on and say, and I do, I'm, very careful. I can come on and say things like, in my opinion, all the conservatives are lunatics. Now, that's my opinion. There's no problem there. But if I were to come on and say, I'm telling you, it is a certifiable fact that anybody who is of the conservative political persuasion in this country is a lunatic, then you would have the right to me to say, why would you say that? Where did you come up with that bit of information? So when somebody comes on and says something like that on my show, then I'm going to challenge them on it. If they say, God, from where I'm standing, it looks like they're all lunatics, or in my opinion, or whatever, I'm sorry. You can't come on and state as fact something that is not fact. You can come on and state it as opinion. And I have to live with that.
Well, Bob, first of all...
like the last guy, okay? The last guy says, "Oh, Lassiter, you lost your sense of humor." He stated it as fact. Well, I haven't lost my sense of humor.
Isn't it at full face. That's part of what I'm talking about. Obviously, this is Lowe saying you've lost your sense of humor. I don't think anyone in the living audience goes, "Oh, gee, Lassiter lost his sense of humor. Oh my God, Martha, isn't that horrible?" Everybody says everybody understands that that's his opinion.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I was simply giving that to you as an example.
Okay, right.
Of how you can be challenged for saying something stupid. Something that really isn't very important, something that doesn't really make the world stop spinning around on its axis.
Take that guy yesterday.
Nonetheless, this is a game, that we're playing here. And if you don't play by the rules, then you're going to get slapped.
Have I played by the rules, Bob?
For the most part.
Okay, Bob. Have a good day.
You too, okay?
Right.
Be good. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. The topic today, Lassiter, our favorite topic. Clearwater, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hi there, Clear.
Yes, I didn't hear you address me, Bob. What I wanted to say was that I agree with the last caller in that specifically there is a word for disagreeing with someone and attacking them personally rather than, addressing their issue.
Well, that makes a great deal of sense. What does
isn't
that
it
word
called
be?
something ad hominem or something, ad hominem argument?
Beats me, I've never heard the word.
Well, there are different terms for how to argue or debate, and it's considered a way to discredit a person would be to try to associate them with an organization, as you did yesterday with the NRA, saying to someone, "What, your beloved NRA," and you really stuck to your guns on that one.
That's right.
And that is an arguing technique.
You must be the jerk that I stuck with that one. Huh? I think you are.
No. My name is Pat, and I'm from Clearwater. And I've talked to you before, and I'd like to readdress an issue and see if you can stick it out this time.
Go ahead.
I called you and told you that I had researched the minimum wage in this area, and McDonald's did not pay a minimum wage. And you immediately said, "Well, they pay close to it," and on, and the exact number was of no interest to you.
Well, I've seen ads for McDonald's for $3.45.
Well, perhaps in Tampa you have, okay? I don't want to dispute that, but when I called you up and told you that I had researched it in Pinellas County...
Sir, by the way, it was in Pinellas County. But, sir, you see, when you're talking about the minimum wage, and when you're talking about the increase in the minimum wage, we're not talking about people earning $3.35 an hour. We're talking about people earning from $3.35 an hour to $5.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right.
Then it's all going to rise.
That's right, sir.
Yeah, rising tide raises all ships. Sir. And I think it'll all remain relative myself.
What's that mean?
But the point is that I also discussed with you the fact that I was delivering pizza, and I had a suggestion. Now, you may recall this. I had a suggestion that anyone who really wanted to make money had no business working in a convenience store. They should get themselves an old car and go out and deliver pizza and make $6 or $8 an hour. And you said, "Oh, it's impossible." When I got off the phone, you said to the next caller, you tried to discredit me. You said, "Oh, if people would make more money, maybe they could afford his pizzas." And if you even knew who ordered pizzas, it happens to be the poor people. And we were talking at the time about large pizzas. So you knew very little about the pizza delivery business or the wage structure of the pizza delivery business because you denied that a person could even make that kind of money. You knew all about it. You were an expert about it instantly.
I doubt very much. I'd love to see a transcript of the show, but I've seen the ads for Domino's. I know what they say that you can make.
What do they say?
$6 to $8 an hour. Sir.
Okay.
So I would have not said that they don't pay that much.
Well, the thing was, we were comparing that wage to a convenience store wage, and you said no gain. The car is too expensive.
Sir, roughly what hours can you work at Domino's?
You can get a 40-hour week.
Okay, 40 hours a week. Let's split the difference. $7. That's $280 a week. And you pay for your own gas.
Yeah.
You pay for your own insurance.
Yeah.
You pay for your own car.
Yeah.
I think you'd do better working at the convenience store for $3.35 an hour, sir. I'd suggest if they will have you that you try to take the job.
Listen to Ted Webb Sports Huddle
every day in this market. Of course, I refer to none other than Lassiter. And since no one else will devote an entire show to Lassiter, I will, because that's the kind of thing that we do here on this program. Unfortunately, most of the people who bring up the topic of Lassiter on other shows are weenies, cowards, yellow bellies, and in general, egg suckers. Let me give you the telephone numbers, 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. Michael, something amuses you in there?
The egg sucker.
Egg suckers, you like that one, huh?
Yes, I
Tampa,
like
you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob, you actually laughed. I see you do have a sense of humor.
Well, of course I do.
Absolutely. Well, I have nothing but a positive call. 4 months now off the cigarettes.
Fantastic.
And I'm the caller who let you know one time that I never went to Dr. Sobel, but if it had not been for him helping you get off the cigarettes, I would probably still be smoking because of your graphic details about cigarettes. One day I threw them out the window, and that's where it's been ever since.
Couldn't be happier. Anybody that can get off the damn things ought to do it. I don't care how they do it.
You know, one of the things that really irks me, as well as you, I'm sure, is when someone does call another talk host and starts lambasting you over the telephone. I think they ought to have the guts to give you a call and voice their opinion.
Yeah, they're egg suckers, all of them.
Well, you know, you've always stated that you want opinions, and you're not going to put a person down unless, you know, if they voice their opinion. You respect the person's opinion. If you catch them lying or you catch them shooting the bull to you in any way, hey, they got it coming to them.
Because I'm such a smart guy and such a nice guy.
Well, let me say what. At first, I had a hard time taking you. I didn't know how to take you because I'm new to talk radio. And when Dick Norman died, I listened to you all afternoon, and that showed me the true Bob Lassiter, the internal part of Bob Lassiter, and that told me a lot about who you are as a man. And everything else I know is a lot of fun to you, and you have a good time with it. And I just wanted to just kind of call and say on your side, hey, I hope this doesn't ruin your day, but I think you're great.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day, Bob.
Take care, Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hello, Tampa. Another one of the egg suckers.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Hi there, Tampa.
Bob.
Yeah.
I can hardly hear you. What's happening? Hello?
Go ahead, Tampa.
Hey, Bob, listen. This is Lassiter today.
Uh-huh.
I was down at the Grand Prix car wash on Saturday.
Yeah.
And your name came up.
Really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was out there, and the boys told me, he said, is that the guy? I said, you know Bob Lassiter, the big star.
Mm-hmm.
He says, yes. He says, that's the guy that always doesn't walk by or walks by the tip box and doesn't put anything in it. I said, no. He must be misunderstanding something. He said, that's the guy with the big white Lincoln with the dead cowhide seats and the rest of that.
What color are those cowhide seats?
Maroon color, I would assume. That's what they told me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought I'd give you a little shot today, Bob, and see what was going on.
Okay.
I'm glad to hear this.
Glad to hear what, sir?
That you're having this Lassiter Day with your name.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you kindly.
For what, sir?
Well, just for the pleasure of talking with you and tell you about how good a job they do at the Grand Prix car wash.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anytime.
990-9352
in Hillsborough is the number 990-WFLA. We will even repeat the monologue. Lassiter. That's the monologue. You have the phone numbers now. 461-9352. 461-9352 would be the number in Pinellas County, which, of course, is the one where the cars don't have anybody driving them or appear not to have anyone driving them. 990-9352 in Hillsborough. 990-9352 in Hillsborough. They are the numbers, and I assume that there's something wrong with the phone system. That's what I'm going to assume because it's you know, anytime the name is mentioned on any other show, it seems to do wonders for whoever it may be. I suppose that we really are correct in assuming that most of those people who call up those other shows are the bedwetting, you know, egg-sucking type of people. Plant City, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
How you doing, Bob?
Fine, thanks.
Today's my birthday. I just wanted to call. It's Lassiter Day. Makes me feel good to be able to talk to you for the first time, long-time listener.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you very much, Bob. Even though you are arrogant, I do like listening to you. You are the one that got me hooked on WFLA, and I just wanted to call and let you know I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Take care. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yes, Bob.
Yeah.
I've been listening to you for about 4 months now.
Uh-huh.
How come you don't let nobody finish talking?
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
You always bab everybody. Even women, you bab them.
What is babbing? I've never heard that word before.
Well, you don't let people finish. If somebody's got an intelligent conversation going on, you always Yeah,
How
you make them look like idiots on the air.
Conversation is.
Pardon me?
I said, how would you know what an intelligent conversation is?
Because I'm an intelligent person.
Then how come you weren't intelligent enough to turn down the radio when you were told to in the background? 990-9352 in Hillsborough. 461-9352 in Pinellas. You will notice several things. First of all, the young man cannot follow directions, therefore he is not intelligent. Secondly, I did not bab him, whatever bab means. It must be some local word, something that beer-swizzling yahoos use. And thirdly, I did not terminate the conversation. He did. So I assume that he is probably back now at his refrigerator sucking an egg, or possibly a weenie, or possibly both. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. Oldsmar, hi there, Olds. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello.
Hi.
I think you're very nice.
Well, thank you.
And, I really like the way, you handle things and stuff. Because, you know how sometimes you tell some people things?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had this one kid that was making fun of me, and so I told him what you told him, and then I told him where I got it from, and he laughed, and he said he must be a neat guy. So lots of people in my school like you.
Well, what was that thing that you told him?
Mom, what did I tell him? He was saying, I don't remember. He was saying, he was telling all this. Oh, yeah, he was saying, well, when I was a little boy, and I said, I don't want to hear your life story.
Whoa, that's a good one.
I just want to hear your opinion.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that. That's a good one. If you're going to steal one from me, that's a good one to steal. Off it is now to Tampa. Hi, Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello there, Bob.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Fine.
Nice to talk to you. It's the first time I ever called you.
Well, great.
I just want to let you know, sometimes I like you a whole lot. Sometimes I dislike you a whole lot. Does that make any sense to you at all?
Well, I don't know. Why don't you try to explain, when is when?
Well, sometimes I like what you say. Other times, like for instance today, about this pizza delivery thing.
Uh-huh.
I know it doesn't really have a lot of influence on anything, but come to find out, they really do make $8 to $9 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, I used to do it.
I don't believe I ever said they didn't.
Well, you said that they have to pay for their own gas, which they don't. They get a 6%.
Now, hold on here a second. The guy that I was talking to, who was purporting to be the expert on it, said that they did.
Yeah, that's true, and obviously he isn't. I used to work for Domino's Pizza, and they give you 6% of all revenue you pull in.
For your
and
cost?
It's very, very easy to deliver $300 worth of pizza a night.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a car, 4-cylinder car, 6-cylinder car, it's very unlikely to use $18 worth of gas, so you're actually making money on that.
Yeah,
and as far as insurance and car payments, you have to pay that anyway.
Well, not if you don't have a car.
Well, yeah, that's true, but most people have a car. But anyway, that's, I'm not trying to badmouth you or anything, just enlighten you on the facts there. And otherwise, I love your show. Just thought I'd give you a call.
Well, thank you very much.
All righty.
Take care.
See ya.
990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. Lassiter is the topic today. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
I take it you don't want to be informed about pizza delivery again.
Well, probably not, unless you can add something in addition to it.
Well, it's no longer 6%. It's now 18 cents a mile.
Okay.
And that, was it 21 cents a mile?
Out there. St. Petersburg, St. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. St. One.
Bob.
Yeah.
Hi, barely can hear you. I'm in a noisy phone booth, so I'll make it quick. On the subject of Lassiter, I think you're great. In fact, I have shown my appreciation by dropping off large bags of popcorn that look like giant prophylactics.
Oh, yes.
And just think you're doing a great job and love your show and keep it up.
Oh, Michael, I'm absolutely in a dither. I suppose you are as well.
I'm almost schmookus.
Yeah, me too, schmookus, because, geez, all those people that wanted so much with it, now all of a sudden, well, no, it's from Colin Lassiter. That's what it's from. Clearwater. Hi, Clear. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Hi.
I'm calling to applaud you. I think what you do is absolutely marvelous, and I applaud you for your intelligence. You're obviously a very well-educated and intelligently spoken person. And if the people that called you, Bob, were more educated themselves, we wouldn't have so many morons and idiots in our communities.
But, sir, we enjoy hearing from the morons and idiots. It's one of the reasons why we have such a large following on this program, is that people enjoy hearing from them.
I guess that's what makes the world go round.
Isn't it ever? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
990, well, hell, you know the numbers. St. Petersburg, St. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Bob?
Yes, that's true.
This is the little old lady from St. Petersburg.
Uh-huh.
I'm one of your very constant fans.
Well, thank you.
And you don't seem to think the little old ladies like you, but we do.
Well, I'm aware of that.
Sure we do. I know at least a half a dozen little old ladies that like you.
Well, I know at least that many myself.
That's good. I'm glad. Really enjoy your show. And sometimes, like everybody else, I get angry with you. Sometimes I don't. And sometimes I really enjoy it. Especially enjoyed your Christmas and Halloween shows. And love to hear you talk about when you were a kid.
Well, thank you.
You're my guy. I defend you. My son-in-law is a electrician, and he's on the road a lot. And he listens to you, and he enjoys you also.
Well, then who do you have to defend me to? I thought you were going to say, that you had to defend me to your son-in-law.
Him. Sometimes he doesn't like you, and I defend him.
Probably just having a bad day those days,
I sure do.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Take care. Temple Terrace. Hi, Temple. You're on the air at 970 WFLA, home of the magnificent Lassiter.
Yeah, Bob Brothers, electric technician, and he doesn't like you. I have to defend you. No, just kidding. Hey, Bob, tell me what you know about economics.
What do I know about economics?
Yeah. Well, give me your educational background.
Well, my educational background, sir.
As far as economics, Bob.
Well, let's just get to the bottom line here. What problem do you have?
The assertion that I don't have any problem
with what I say.
I love your show. But at the same time, I have, come on, face it, Bob. You don't have any idea how an economic system works.
Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. I know how my house works. My household works the same way that the rest of the world works.
Bob, the consequences of what goes on in your house are so much smaller than the consequences of what the Fed does.
Sir, I never said that the consequences were the same.
And you did. I would have sworn I was in the middle of a sentence.
Sir, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. And don't get smart with me, punk, or else you're gone, unless you'd like to have a real conversation.
God, Bob, are you going to hang up on me and badmouth?
Yeah, I am. That's right. I am going to hang up on you and badmouth you now, because I never suggested that the consequences of the economics in my household were the same as the consequences of a nation's economics. However, the basics are exactly the same. The basics are precisely the same. You see, that's my education in economics. You apparently do not have an education in economics, nor do you have an education in how to continue. The fun of it, I'm going to continue to berate and humiliate you and educate your caller. You see, I can kite checks at my house just like the Federal Reserve does, just like the federal government does. I can float. I can float things. I can sell off pieces of the house to balance the budget. These are all the things that the country does too. You see, so I know a great deal about economics because I know how to run my household, and I know what I can do to cheat. I know what I can do to buy time. I know what I can do to make it look better than it really is. I know what I can do to, for example, add assets. I know what I can do to become more productive in my household. Little things like that. So you don't have to go to the London School of Economics, nor do you have to go to MIT or Stanford or virtually any school that teaches courses in economics to know something about economics. All you have to do is to understand that the rules of economics are just like the rules of almost anything. They apply to everyone across the board. It doesn't really make any difference how many zeros you're playing with. The rules are quite the same. If you continue to borrow more than you are worth, you're going to go bankrupt. If you continue to spend more than you bring in, you're going to go bankrupt. It doesn't make any difference how many zeros. And like I said, perhaps the next time you will be sincere and play by the rules. And maybe we could have an honest-to-goodness conversation, because you sound like not a bad guy. You just sound like a cocky little arrogant guy that thinks that simply because we're number one, that things can't go wrong here. Well, they can go wrong here. And they're going to go wrong here. And, if you would just like to pretend that they're not going to go wrong, that's cool, man. It's not going to change anything. I mean, you can pretend all the way to the great crash. And there will be one. I don't know when. But you can pretend all the way to the great crash. Or you can sit around like me and be a doom and gloomer all the way to the great crash. It's not going to affect anything. It's still going to crash. Brandon, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
You got it, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, there are times when you and I disagree almost violently, and there are other times when we don't disagree. And it kind of amazes me once in a while. But since this is a bashing Bob hour, I'd like to bash you about one little point.
Well, sir, first of all, let me hasten to point out, I mean, you're certainly entitled to bash. But the topic today is Lassiter. It's one way or the other. It's not just bashing. I mean, you know, if you really wanted to, you come over and lick my boots. It's okay with me.
Now, what I really wanted to point out is sometimes when somebody is got a point that is opposite of yours, you will scrutinize every statement and you'll pin them down, and that's certainly the proper thing to do. But occasionally somebody else will call in behind that caller with a view that tends to lean towards yours and will make some rather outrageous statements, and you'll let those things slide by. And I really wish you wouldn't, because it damages credibility, really.
Did it ever dawn on you that, sir, maybe I didn't recognize the outrageous statements?
There's some of them you would have had to recognize, and I wish I could give you a good for instance. Unfortunately, I've been sitting here racking what little brain I've got.
I'm not really trying to make excuses, but I try very hard when I find someone making the outrageous statements on my behalf. But you must also understand that I have other things to do, and I am far more likely to be shutting off the microphone and going through my briefcase looking for the next piece of copy or whatever it may be while there's someone on the air who I don't think I've got to watch that closely.
Yeah.
So it's a distinct possibility I'm not even listening.
Yeah, well, that's the one big gripe I've got relative to Lassiter.
Well, and it's a damn legitimate gripe. I would be very distressed if I caught myself doing that.
Right. But other than that, you scare me occasionally when we do agree, and you outrage me occasionally at other times, and I certainly appreciate both of them.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Take care.
You too. One line available. It's in where? Hillsborough, 990-9352, 990-WFLA. St. Petersburg. Hi there, Saint. You're on the air.
Hello, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I don't like about you, man.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you what. You stop talking through your nose and start talking straight right now, or else you're gone. How's that?
This is me, Bob.
Okay, I warned you. Off it is now to St. Petersburg. Saint, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hello, Saint. Saint once. Female in St. Petersburg twice. Another egg-sucking weenie that couldn't hold on. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. It's amazing how they hold on for 2 or 3 minutes and then, I can't talk to him. Lutz, you're on the air.
Lassiter.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
Fine.
This is about my first time I've ever got to talk to you. And like your last caller, he says that I feel the same way. Some things you and I agree with, and other things you and I get furious with each other. But there's one thing I'd like for you to do if you can.
What's that?
These weenies that call you up and you let them just run for a little bit and you hang up on them. I like to really see them embarrass themselves and make them look like a real horse's petunia. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I do my best,
I just wanted to let you know, Bob. I think you do a good show. I mean, you irritate people. You get them to call you. That's the idea of the game. I mean, if people really hated you that much, they wouldn't even bother listening or wouldn't even bother calling.
Well, I thank you very much.
Have a good one, Bob.
You too. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in the other place. Lake Land. Hi, Lake. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob, pay close attention. You may have to dump me.
Mm-hmm.
I would call for the people that really don't like you. I mean, really, really don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
I call for a kind of phone public.
Let's go to Tampa. Hi, Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good afternoon, Bob.
Good afternoon.
I've got a positive thing and a negative thing to say.
Yeah.
Let me give you the positive one first. In my opinion, there's many facets of Lassiter, and that keeps the show interesting. I think too many hosts suffer for being too nice to their callers, and they'll build a smaller audience of loyal friends and hangers-on, and it gets boring for the rest of us.
Come on, you're just ugly now.
Overall, I think the audience's enjoyment is generally more important than any single caller, and I think, in my opinion, that's your philosophy. You're looking out more for your audience than just your caller. And but there are many facets to you, so sometimes callers are treated very civilly and very normally, and other times they're, fodder for your show. And I look at that positively. It keeps it interesting. You have to do this 5 days a week, and you mix it up that way. Negatively, I think my only other comment is you do too many endorsements. I think you should stick to about 2, and I think doing more than that dilutes your sincerity, or at least your audience's perception of your sincerity.
Well, why would you say that? They're all totally different.
Yeah, I just think...
if I was doing 9 different restaurants, then I could begin to understand where you might say, well...
My opinion is that whatever you're taking, even if they're all very different, you should stick to about 2 or 3 and no more. And I think it's just a psychological perception for people. I feel you're sincere and you handle them all, sometimes even humorously, usually, and your spots are interesting. But I think it dilutes, the perception of your sincerity of the product.
I will take into consideration what you've said, although I don't understand it.
You don't Can I make it any clearer?
No, I really don't know how you could, because...
just like if you see Robert Young, isn't that the name of the guy who says, Bob, why so jumpy? Or the coffee guy or whatever?
My God, what a memory you have. That would run for years. You just brought them right back to me instantly.
Sort of proves the spot works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
There you go. There you go. I think if he was doing more than that, even if it wasn't for coffees or whatever, it wouldn't give you the same sense that he lives and dies for that coffee.
Well, of course, I would be delighted to discuss this with you for hours on end, but unfortunately, as you've already heard, Don Richards has already stuck his big nose in the conversation.
All right, I'll let him get it in there.
Be good.
Bye.
Don, take it away.
Dr. William Stewart sentenced in Tampa at 8.
Tell me, who's your favorite talk show host?
Oh, you know it is Johnny Carson.
Dusty, let me ask you something. Who's your favorite talk show host?
David Letterman.
Dusty, let me ask you something.
And then I liked what I saw. I liked walking through some of the home sites and trying to imagine, how you would put that home right there on that particular lot and salvage those trees over there and this big one out in front. And dreams start to happen at Woodridge. That's one of the great things about it. Dreams come true at Woodridge, starting from $120,000. Build your dream home on a majestic oak-covered home site. And when I say build your dream home, well, you can talk with several different builders who are ready to bid on your dream home. It's not a matter where you have to take somebody else's design and, just take it or leave it. No, you can change things around. Move that bathroom over here, shove the kitchen over there. Make it whatever you want. Your dream from $120,000, along with lower taxes, lower impact fees, sewer and water already there, fully matured trees, prices that are reasonable at Woodridge. And when you deal at Woodridge, you're dealing directly with the developer. Let me give you his phone number. 960-2707. 960-2707. Ask for Don Larson at Woodridge. Okay, let's see what's the story here. 2 lines available. Cannot believe that. Can you believe that? My 2 lines are open, both of them, in Hillsborough, 990-9352, 990-WFLA. Sometimes Michael and I go out of here actually with our skulls bleeding from scratching our heads because we can't believe things. Bartow, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good day, Mr. Lassiter.
Oh, possibly. We'll see.
I hear you. I hope everything's going all right, sir.
Yes, thank you.
That's good. That guy over, that bonehead over in Lakeland I'm close enough to him to go over and slap him upside his head, him the way he called. But I reckon his show wouldn't be a show unless it had that type of person.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I love listening to your show. I listen to it every day. And, yesterday you had my head beating up against the wall, every once in a while. But, on the gun control, I don't know, I like guns, but, that's your point of view. And
I understand that you like guns. All I want to do is make sure that you're not a lunatic.
Well, I ain't no lunatic, I guarantee you that. But, I can see your point. But, also, everybody else has got his own point of view, towards anything. But, I was hoping maybe you would, jump on me.
Jump on you?
I don't know,
you're cute or something?
Bashed by Lassiter, but, don't hang up on me, but,
we haven't said anything that has offended me yet.
Well, what can I say?
You told me that you have a difference of opinion.
What can I say to offend you? But I don't want to call you no personal names.
It doesn't work that way. It has to be real.
All right, come on, Bob. Come on. Give me the distinct pleasure of you bashing me.
All right, you're a subhuman gun lover, okay? Get off my phone, you...
Okay, Bob, you have a good day, sir. Tell Michael, have a good day, too.
Okay, well, I wasn't finished yet. Get off my phone, you gun-toting yahoo.
Hey, would you please get Gary McHenry for me?
I will.
Shoot him down out of that airplane.
Okay.
Take care, Bob.
Take care. We'll throw eggs at him. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hello, Tampa.
Yes.
Yes.
Bob?
That's true.
What is or when did they start taking money out for Social Security? Do you know?
I believe it was sometime in the latter 1930s, ma'am.
1937, because my husband was working.
Well, if you knew, why did you ask me?
Well, because I called you last week sometime, and I told you we were in our 80s, and you asked me if my grandparents drawed Social Security. My grandparents were in the Civil War in the Union.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. You told me that
parents.
you were in your 80s after I asked about your grandparents.
And you asked about my parents drawing Social Security.
That's
My
true.
dad died 7 or 8 years before it started. And my mother died at 61. And none of them drawed Social Security. We
Yes, but they all
do,
could
but
have.
I don't go to the mailbox and wait on it because
Oh, direct deposit, huh?
we've saved money all our lives and we went through the Depression. If anybody never went...
Lady, it's only a 3-hour show, and if you're going to start at this point with, we went through the Depression,
Well, I want
it's
you-
painfully apparent to me that we're not going to be able to continue this call. Oh, welcome back there, fun seekers. 12 minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock. That's what it is. It is a Wednesday, May the 3rd, 1989. I, of course, am the magnificent Lassiter. And if only you people could see what I have to put up with. The expressions, the insubordination on the other side of the glass is really terrible. Anyways, I was pointing out to you, I, of course, am the biggest topic of conversation in the entire area. There is nothing that is discussed more than me at cocktail parties, on other radio shows, things of that nature. So therefore, I've decided to discuss me today on my show. And I did a monologue. The monologue simply was Lassiter and gave the phone numbers. And that's what we're doing here. There is one line available. It is in Hillsborough County. The number is 990-9352. So if you would like to discuss... Oh, there's a drop-off. There's one open in Pinellas now, too. So if you would like to discuss the magnificent Lassiter, that's all you have to do. Treasure Island. Hi, Treasure. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hi.
Hi, this is Dee Dee from Treasure Island.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know how you always discuss how you stopped smoking with Dr. Sobel?
That's right.
Well, I've gone to Dr. Sobel for 3 weeks, and it doesn't seem to be helping me too much.
Well, I guess you don't really want to quit.
Yes, I do.
Well,
And I've
what's
got
your problem?
Well, I've got this hard candy. Everything's sitting around here. I'm doing everything like you said. And I want to know how you quit in 1 week.
It's very simple.
How?
Well, first of all, let's really make sure that you went to Dr. Sobel. What did he have you do?
Well, like the first week, he said we could smoke on the hour, every day for a week.
Right.
And I did it. And then after that, when I went back, it was just too hard to quit right then, immediately, that day. And
Okay, what about the questionnaires?
What?
What about the questionnaires?
Well, the questionnaires aren't nothing.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Well,
That's
that
the
doesn't
whole
mean anything
key.
to me.
Well, then you don't really want to quit smoking. You see, because of the questionnaires, what they are designed to do are to figure out exactly, A, why you smoke, and B, what it's going to take to make you quit smoking. And that's the whole purpose of filling out those 2 questionnaires.
Okay.
And, I say, what Dr. Sobel wants to do is to first figure out why you smoke so that we can attack those things, or he can attack those things. For example, you smoke because you like the taste after you finish eating. Okay? And you want to quit because, you're afraid of getting cancer, just to pull two things out of the air, okay? What you're supposed to be able to do at that point, and what Dr. Sobel tries to help you to do at that point, is to take the reason that you want to quit and make that supersede the reason that you smoke. And if you don't want to quit that hard or that much, then I guess there's nothing he can do for you.
Well,
So you got to really be sincere.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, you know how you went in there, right? And he talked about the cancer and all this and how much better you're going to feel. And okay, well, that's all fine and everything. But still, I get home that night, I talk to my husband. My husband tells me about this man at work who quit smoking 15 years ago, runs 5 miles a day, and then all of a sudden he gets hit with cancer of the kidney.
Yeah, okay. Look, My ex-wife remarried, and the guy that she married died at the age of 32 of lung cancer and never smoked a cigarette in his life. You know, but the point is, you've got to want to stop smoking. You know, don't go around looking for excuses to smoke. You're looking for excuses to smoke by saying, well, you know, this guy died of cancer, and he ran 5 miles every day, so, gee, it's okay to smoke. So you're looking for excuses.
Okay, basically,
and on
I'm a
top
weak
of that,
person.
on top of that, I'll tell you something else, too. I think Dr. Sobel, and hey, I'm entitled to my opinion like everybody else is, but I think Dr. Sobel is asking too much when he asks you to do that 1 cigarette an hour on the hour. I couldn't do it. I didn't do it. I just smoked right up until the day that I was supposed to quit. The second session. I sat up that night until 2:30, putting those babies away. I mean, I want to tell you, that living room was filled with smoke. Mary sat up until about 12:30. I sat up until 2:30. I finally had 1 cigarette left, and I just couldn't smoke it. And I threw that one away, got up the next morning, and that was it. But don't look for excuses to smoke. Look for excuses not to smoke. Think about all the good benefits that are going to come from it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
How many cigarettes have you smoked today?
6.
6. You see, you're killing yourself. You're torturing yourself. I mean, either smoke them all or don't smoke any of them.
Yeah.
And it's going to take, you know, the first 2 or 3 days, the first week and a half. Well, I remember coming in here so mean and grumpy, and nobody knew that I quit smoking.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't go around saying, hey, I quit smoking. I just did. And I came in here and I snapped and snarled at everyone. Because, hey, I was literally going through a physical withdrawal, and I don't have it that bad. My physical addiction isn't that bad.
So, like, how long has it been since you quit?
Oh, it's 6 months now.
Oh, okay.
Or just under. Actually, Michael, how long has it been since... Michael says November 15th.
Wow. And you feel lots better, right?
Oh, within a week.
Really?
In less than a week, the cough went away. In less than a week. And I was down to the point where I was just constantly gagging. Constantly. The wheeze went away in less than a week. Yes, I feel better. I feel much, much better. And I wouldn't tell you that if I didn't mean it.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you something else, too.
What?
There is not one day that I have not craved a cigarette.
Oh.
But the cravings are short. You know, once you get over the physical addiction, the cravings are relatively short. I've talked with people who quit smoking 20, 30 years ago who tell me the same thing. There isn't a... Dr. Sobel will work with you. I suppose at some point, if you don't try hard enough, he's going to tell you, you're not really into this. But he'll work with you.
Okay.
Keep up with it. It's worth it. It really and truly is.
Oh, I know it's going to be worth it. It's just that, that hump.
Okay.
The ashtray.
Well, let me know. And, if you're going to smoke, but don't torture yourself with 6 cigarettes a day.
Okay. Okay.
And, that's Lassiter's opinion, not Dr. Sobel's opinion. I don't speak for him. I just tell everybody that it worked for me.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Be good. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas are the numbers. There's a line available in each county.
Oh, hi, Bob. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Gary.
Time for Giro.
Yes, I know. Everybody's been, people are gathering around out in the hall saying, hey, is it time for Gary McHenry's report yet?
Is Mr. Maseko out there?
No. Can you hear them chanting?
Yeah.
Gary. No, that was Mr. Maseko in the background there. Gary McHenry standing by with a dangerous WFLA airborne traffic report that will be terrific.
Thank you, Bubba. Traffic along 2...
Hey, Bob.
Hey.
How you doing?
Oh, great.
Listen, like a few callers ago, I agree. Sometimes you really piss me off. Other times you make me think. I manage a wallpaper store in Seminole, Florida, which is not the most exciting place to be in the world. However,
hey, look, wait a second.
Wait, sir, I started a sentence. Please don't interrupt me in the middle of the
You could be in Pinellas Park.
Pardon me?
You could be in Pinellas Park.
Well, not necessarily. I'm in Seminole, the affluent area of Pinellas Park.
Well, what you said is, that it would be almost impossible to be somewhere worse, didn't you?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
It could be worse.
That's right, Pinellas Park.
But anyways, interesting story. Had a young gentleman here, must have been 12 years old. Keep the radio on all day long. Heard it going and said, what are you listening to? I said, WFLA. He said, is that Lassiter? I said, yeah, it is Lassiter. He says, geez, I've heard of him. Can you turn it up? So sure enough, I turned it up. And he sat there enthralled, listening to the mystique of Lassiter. It's also interesting throughout the day. I have feel mainly 90% of my customers are female, and have WFLA on all day long. And it's interesting to see the responses on their faces when some subjects come up. Lionel might be on, or yourself, or Ted Webb. And I just want you to know that the first-time caller, by the way, and I enjoy your programs very much. I now go home at night with subjects discussed with my wife, and feel more enlightened.
Do you have any idea what kind of a kick that is for me? I mean, can you begin to imagine? The little fat kid from Collingswood who couldn't do anything decent in his life, could never quite get anything right, blows into this town, this very strange little town, Tampa Bay, and people, after a few years, call him up and say, and now I have something to go home and talk to my wife about.
Well, but interestingly enough, I used to listen to, quote-unquote, the zoo, and I know we use that terminology a lot. But I did, and you went home feeling, you listen to music all day long. That's great. Talk radio was never my bag. I never thought it was. And I got to praise you guys for the job you do, and this is not to blow your ego up or anything else. I just really enjoy your programs, what you do, and the comments you make, because a lot of times I disagree vehemently with what you say or how you say it and the conduct on the air, but just the fact that I go home feeling that, geez, at least what I listened to was worthwhile. And I really think enough of the schmaltz. But I really do. I think you've got a great program, a great lineup of guests or talk show hosts, I may add. And I really do appreciate it. And I think you had a hissy fit, or you, quote-unquote, hissy fit Bob Lassiter terms. And you couldn't get your new callers in, or you're having too many of the males that were the, quote-unquote, screamers. I fall into that category. As far as age group-wise. But it's neat to see that these young kids come in and they're willing to listen and to learn. But we thank you.
I thank you.
Well, thank you.
Take care. And remember, you could be in Pinellas Park.
Well, God forbid.
Okay. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas, as well as Pinellas Park. Tarpon Springs. Tarp, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
I was just thinking to myself that I wasn't going to ask you that. I guess it's just an automatic response. Sorry.
That's okay. Be grateful I didn't tell you about the gas that I had this morning.
It's a bit of a farewell, Bob, because I'm being transferred out to the West Coast, so I'm going to be leaving your market, unfortunately. And I thought, I was hoping you'd actually have a show like this before I left, so that I could call and kind of relate to you my best and worst of Lassiter, in my opinion. I mean, as far as my opinion, not as far as stuff that's happened on your show. And I guess the best thing, for the first time, I heard most of your Christmas time monologue last year, and I thought it was really moving. I mean, it was really, I could relate to it as I was listening, because I could kind of imagine through the eyes of a child, And then as the years went on, just the things that were happening and some of the things regarding your mother and that. And I know that it can't be easy for you to share that, with your audience, and that was very moving. And
you say it can't be easy. It isn't. It isn't. I assume you're referring to the last two Christmases that my mother was alive.
Right.
The one that I brought her down, the one that I didn't.
Right.
It's something that happened. There's nothing I can do, and I probably would do it the same, believe it or not.
Well, because there's no way you could know.
Exactly, but I just thought I would mention it, so maybe the next guy might have an opportunity to not make the same mistake.
Well, the bottom line to me, though, in all of, and like every other caller, there's things that I agree with you and things that I violently disagree, but the bottom line to me is that you really seem to care. Like they say things are relative, like they say, hey, if there's thousands of people starving in Ethiopia, it's no big deal to you if you just broke a pipe in your bathroom, It's because things are relative. But, you do seem to care about, what's going on in the world, and not, not just our own little, your own little personal life or whatever. But
again, you see, I don't bitch at you for anything that I don't do myself. When you say I care, do I care that there are people that are going to sleep in the streets tonight? Well, yeah, I do, but I'm not going to do anything about it tonight.
Right.
And so that kind of pisses me off, because I wish I wasn't such a slouch.
Well, it's strange you should say that, because that's what brings me to my biggest disappointment in you. since I've been a listener. And that's, now let me get my facts straight first. You did wind up, when the Taurus versus Lincoln Continental business was going on, you did wind up buying the Lincoln, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. See, when that was going on, I was thinking to myself, and I didn't really get to hear the end of it, but it was going on for a couple of weeks, as I recall. And I was thinking to myself, well, Lassiter, the way he talks and the way, you're seen as kind of a liberal and all that. I said, he's going to buy the Taurus and he'll say, well, I'll just give the difference that I would have spent on the Lincoln to a homeless organization or something. And then I heard...
I've never suggested that you give money to charity.
Oh, no, I know. But I was surprised, though, because I was surprised that you bought the more expensive one. I don't know why it is. I guess... And I hope you won't be offended by this. In my own mind, it started the thought that, well, gee, I guess a Republican is a liberal with money in his pocket. It's like I was wondering if you're going to get a George Bush bumper sticker to go on it. But
no, I've never suggested that. I know that it would be the classic liberal, the classic humane, the classic Christian thing to do, to go out and find one of those homeless people tonight and bring them back to my house and give him food and shelter. That would be the classic humane thing to do.
Right.
I'm not about to do it. And I'm not about to ask you to do it. But what I suggest that we do is create jobs, create a better economic atmosphere in this country so that we don't have homeless people and poor people.
Right.
I suggest that you and I perhaps spend a little bit more to buy American products, or spend a little bit more so that wages can be increased on the lower levels. That's what I suggest doing, and it's what I will always suggest doing.
Well, it's that... What you're suggesting to me is treating the disease rather than the symptoms. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're getting at the root cause.
Exactly, and it's going to take 20 or 30, 40 or 50 years if we all started today.
Right.
My friend, I hate to do this. Unless you want to stay on hold, I've got to move on to Don Richards.
Well, I know how it goes with the time, Bob. I'll just say thanks again, and I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Don Richards standing by at the WFLA News Desk.
WFLA's Bob Lassiter.
Let's go to Tampa. Hi there, Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob. How you doing today?
Oh, reasonable.
Well, I just want to tell you something.
Yeah.
I work here at IBM in the mailroom. We think that you're a good talk show host, and I was just wondering, what made you decide to get into talk radio?
What made me decide to get into talk radio? Well, that's a fair question, because when I decided to get into talk radio, I couldn't. That was about 12, 13 years ago. For some strange reason, I thought, gee, that sounds like it would really be an interesting thing to do. I'd worked in radio for quite some time, and I thought that, gee, doing a talk show, I'm kind of a current events freak, and I like to give my opinion, and nobody would hire me. And so I gave up on it, and I got into the business quite by accident. A friend of a friend of a friend just called me up one day and said, gee, would you like to do a late-night weekend talk show in Miami? And that's how it happened.
Well, and also, I'm just like enlarge on what everyone else has said about what they don't like about you. So you cut people off, and you get to be like a little arrogant on the radio, and it's kind of annoying to people who call you up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be nicer. It also keeps people more interested and want to call you more, but it'd be a lot nicer to people who you talk to if you don't hang up on them and call them scum of the earth.
Well, if people wouldn't misbehave on my show, they wouldn't get hung up on and called scum of the earth.
Yeah.
God, I've never called anybody scum of the earth. I think I'm going to write that one down and see if I can't work it in. I like that. It's subhuman pig that I usually call them, but scum of the earth. Ooh, that sounds even better to me.
I'm glad you like that one, Bob.
Well, I do. Thank you. Thanks for that. I really appreciate it. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how you doing there? Hey, I every time I think of the word Bob Lassiter, I think
well, actually
entertainment.
2 words. Yeah, entertainment. Good.
No, I do. I really do. I think your shows are extremely entertaining, and that's why I listen to radio. I want to be entertained. I don't want to, I just like to be entertained.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can appreciate that. What do you think of when you hear the words Bronze Adonis?
Well, that's me. Or Ted Webb.
How about the world's most dangerous traffic reporter? What do you think of when you hear those words?
Well, that's Gary.
Gary.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of when you hear the words Gary McHenry?
That's what I'm saying. He's dangerous. I'm afraid he's going to crash on my house one of these days.
You see, McHenry, you've got these people terrified out there.
Oh, boy.
They're afraid, Gary. They're afraid every time they hear your song.
Yes, so are the foxes, Bob.
Oh, come on, Gary. The fox is the only thing in town that you don't frighten.
Traffic
This is it my turn now? Okay, I knew it.
Here comes the Fox down. Fox, come in the studio, please. Fox, I just want to say 2 words to you. Gary McHenry.
I don't think that was... That sounds a lot like the person you said was Mr. Maseko earlier, Bob. Traffic on the Howard Frank...
I don't know. I can think of a lot of reasons why you might want to go to Calps Cove. As a matter of fact, for the last several months, I've tried to tell you a lot of good reasons to go to Calps Cove. Let me give you another one. Where else can you go, get tableside service, great food, and talk bicycles? That's right. I was out at Calps Cove last Friday night. I was sitting there having dinner. Bruce came by, the general manager. We started talking. I mentioned that I was looking for a bicycle. Bruce says, hey, I used to run a bike shop. I said, you're putting me on. He said, no. And we started talking about various different types of bikes. I have to call him and tell him I bought the 2 that he recommended. The Boss Cruisers. I did buy them, Bruce. I truly did. Hello?
Listen, I don't think you're a good talk show host at all, and you're never the topic of my conversation wherever I go.
Well, you're listening.
I just happened to turn on, and I heard what you were talking about yourself.
Mike, it's the just happened to turn you on, lady.
I heard you talking about yourself.
Yeah, we talk about you all the time. We even have a name for you that just happened to turn you on, lady.
Hey, another thing is you're inconceited.
Well, wait a second. If you never listened to me, how do you know all these things?
You're inconceited. You're dripping
Not
in
inconceited,
gold.
my dear. It's conceited.
You run the old people down, and our dear President Ronald Reagan all the time. You run him down all the time.
Well, how do you know that if you don't listen to me?
I listen when you talk about our president.
Well, how do you know when I'm talking about our president?
Well, I just
Besides that, he left office, months ago, lady.
I just happened to turn it on.
Just happened to turn it on. It's the just happened to
turn
it on,
And I think you're oversized, overpaid, and irresistible.
Well, wait a second. How much money do you think I earn?
Well, you're always boasting about that. You're the
well,
top,
how do you know I'm always boasting about it?
Over there.
I never boast about how much money I earn when I'm talking about Ronald Reagan.
Well,
so you must listen to the boasting shows and the Reagan
wimp.
Shows.
A big wimp. Oversized.
A big wimp.
I really do, and I don't think
do you know what
the
word wimp means?
And I know what it means, and I'll tell you something else. I never listen to you. I listen to Tim.
Lady, you can't listen to him. He retired.
Seminole, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Sam.
I'm a first-time caller.
Great.
Just a little nervous. Let's see, I'm a nurse, and I drive around different hospitals during the day. I visit 6 hospitals, and I have to coordinate home health care.
Mm-hmm.
Back in October, my husband bought me a new stereo with programmable stations, and I happened to cross you one day. Now my entire radio, well, the AM stations, are all 970. I love you. I really do. You make me laugh, and you make me cry, and you make me angry. And I was just listening a few minutes ago, and somebody said that he talks to his wife, about your show. Well, I talk to my teenagers about it. You make me think. Just Friday, I think it was, we were talking about eating beetles or crickets or something. My kids think you're great, too.
It really is the nicest thing that people could possibly say, because the mere thought, okay, I got an ego, but that ego really kind of disappears when I walk out of the station, because I'm somewhat of a shy man, too. Paradox, I appreciate that. But let me get back. The mere thought that people sit around at home and talk about conversations or topics that have been brought up on this show is such a thrill to me. It really and truly is.
Well, Bob, you make me think, that's for sure.
I mean, it's also a thrill to me that there's some very, very befuddled people out there who also sit around and talk about me. That's also somewhat amusing to me. But to hear that you talk about my topics, that's great. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. One day in particular, I remember I have 3 teenagers, and we sat around, and you had just blown me away this one day. One day you were talking about maybe killing people and selling tickets to the killing, capital punishment, I guess it was.
Yes, pay-per-view for capital punishment in Florida.
That was one of the best shows, and then since then, and even before that, my radio's just glued to your station. I love it. I look forward to going to the next hospital during the day so I can, listen for a few minutes.
Thank you.
I enjoy it.
Now, by the way, were you and your kids in favor of the pay-per-view?
Pardon me?
Were you and your children in favor of the pay-per-view?
No, absolutely not.
Good.
Yuck.
Well, a lot of people were that day,
I know. I couldn't believe that. That was crazy. And I didn't even realize it was a goof, because maybe I had been driving around in the car for a while, and I didn't hear I was probably in the hospital, and I didn't hear the beginning of the show. I only turned it on and hear all these people calling up, and I'm thinking, who's this man that he's talking about? You know, this congressman or senator or whoever. That was just the craziest thing I had ever heard. I loved it. I've talked about it for the longest time. I loved it.
Amazing how many people thought it was a great idea and really liked this particular state legislator. Well, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. Your favorite topic and mine, Lassiter. That was the entire monologue that we delivered in the 3 o'clock hour. Just like we did yesterday, we're really into these one-word monologues. We find them very, very interesting. We write them very quickly in the morning. It doesn't take more than 15 or 20 minutes to pound out a monologue like that on the old keyboard. And since I am so magnificent, and of course I am, and since I am a topic of conversation on other radio shows and at tea rooms throughout the area, as well as cocktail parties, cheap sleazy bars, and rodeos, I thought that what the hell, we'll just turn the whole day into conversation about me, which I just love, and I know that you do too. Don Richards standing by, who also loves to talk Lassiter, at the WFLA news desk. Don?
Tampa police officer in serious...
In Tampa. Clear Water. Hi, Clear. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
How are you today?
Fine. No gas
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why is it that you always interrupt other people and you don't like people interrupting you?
Well, it's because I'm like everybody else.
Huh?
I said it's because I'm like everybody else.
Well, that's true, but I mean, at the same time...
Well, that answers your question for you, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but let me ask you another thing.
Sure.
Ted Webb does it in a different manner.
Uh-huh.
Okay, he'll say, listen, sorry, I got another call, I got to run.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a little bit more easier to do than to say, hey, you old bag, get off my line?
Hey, I got another call, I got to run. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing this afternoon?
Oh, reasonably good.
Oh, great. First time I've ever called you. I listen to you faithfully all the time. But I got out of my truck, and I got home, and I put my little Walkman on, and I was going to cut the grass, and I'm flipping around trying to find you on there. And you know the lady that called you that had the English accent?
Yeah.
Oh, I caught her on another station talking to somebody about a guy by the name of Tim or something.
Uh-huh.
And she said, well, I'm going to call that Lassiter, and I'm really going to give him a piece of my mind.
Oh, she couldn't have said that.
Well...
She doesn't have any mind to give me a piece of.
That's what I thought. After I listened to her, I thought, my God, lady, you better go back and get the rest of your brain. You left it somewhere. But anyhow, no, I just called to say that I really enjoy your program, and I think you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much.
I got to tell you something else now. Now, this is the other part. My mother-in-law, she does not like you.
Well, it figures nobody's mother-in-law likes me.
I know it. You know what I threatened to give her?
The woman had any taste. I mean, aside from the fact that she had that lovely daughter that you married, but aside from that, I mean, the woman probably has early American furniture in her living room, doesn't she?
Man, boy, I tell you what. Now, about the lovely daughter I married, that's questionable now. But anyhow, you know what I threatened to give her for her birthday? When you were going to do your remote live from somebody's living room, I was going to turn her name in.
Whoa.
Whoa, that's right. But listen, Bob, you're doing a great job, and I really enjoyed talking to you.
Well, thank you very much.
And I'll keep listening.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3. How is that possible? Hillsborough lines open at 461-9352. 461 WFLA on a day when you can talk about the magnificent Lassiter. 3 lines open in Hillsborough. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Mr. Lassiter.
Yes. Hi there, Tamp.
I understand that your real name or your given name was not Lassiter.
That's correct.
I'm kind of curious how you decided to call yourself Lassiter, of all things.
Legitimate question. I've told the story before. My given name is Gwodowski.
Right.
And, I can't spell it, I can't say it, and no one else can either, so...
Well, I understand why you wouldn't want to go by that name on the radio, but I'm just curious as to why.
Well, my first wife and I decided to legally change the name. And we sat down, and I wanted to go with St. Lawrence. I thought that Robert St. Lawrence, and she thought that Laura Miller, which was her maiden name, would have been a fine name for us. And so since we couldn't agree, we decided to literally open up the dictionary and go through the proper names until we found one that we could both agree on. And we went through, we're talking hundreds of names before you get to Lassiter. And that was the first one that we could both agree on, and so therefore it became Lassiter.
It had nothing to do with a movie on TV, then?
No, it was long before then.
You know what the meaning of the word is?
No, I don't.
Because I just happen to have a new dictionary of American family names, and I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
And the definition is a variant of Lester, and it tells you to look up Lester. And Lester means one who came from Lassiter, which means dwellers on the Lagra River, and that's a town and county in England.
Gee, I was hoping it would have meant something like, golden-tongued devil.
So it's an English name.
Well, thank you, my friend.
Okay.
Take care. Oh, one more hour yet to go. Remember, it's Lassiter.
But that's his nature. He's not one to back down. One look, and you know he deserves respect. Plenty of it. You can sense the danger. You can see it in his eyes. That is, if you can see him at all, because he's the art of camouflage.
The Master! Bob Lassiter! Bob Lassiter, News Radio 970, WSLA.
Well, it certainly is one of the better days in Tampa Bay Talk Radio. Probably one of the luckier days in your life if you happen to be witnessing this program, because we're talking about Lassiter today. What the hell everybody else does. It's a conversation that I hear in supermarkets and dry cleaning establishments, even in laundromats. Yes, as we speak in laundromats, there are people listening to the show, talking about me, little old ladies lying through their teeth. I never listened to him. Never, but... So I thought that I would deliver a monologue today on myself, and I did. I simply said, Lassiter, I'm really into these one-word monologues, and gave out the phone numbers, and it has been...
Sit around and talk about yourself, or be criticized, or be patted on the back, but have a show that, I don't know, I've listened to FLA for, oh, God, like,
well, you see, most
9, 10 years. And
well, you see, most of the people who have called this afternoon have taken the opportunity to take me to task for something specific that I have said or done in the past.
Oh, no, I think that's terribly unfair, because that's what you're there for.
I don't think it's unfair. Why would it be unfair?
Well, I mean, because they disagree with you?
Well, sure. Why aren't they allowed to disagree with me?
Well, I mean, they can disagree with you, but why would they take you to task? That's not the point. The point is you make them think. You make them actually want to pick up the phone.
No, I beg your pardon. Most of the people that have called this afternoon are not those that I've made think.
Oh, well, I'm
Some of them were, that's for sure. But, like the lady who was just happened to be listening today.
Oh, no, I'm not just happening to be listening.
Well, I know that. I was referring to the woman who just happened to be listening.
I listen
that kind
all
of
the
person.
time.
I don't make think.
And I just like your subjects. I like you to make my mind boil. I like to get mad at you. I like to agree with you. I like to just hear your voice and all of a sudden get, like, goosebumps.
Well, I can understand that.
Well, I know you can.
You see
but
what
I
happened.
disagree with you sitting there asking for people to call in and say, I like and I dislike, because that's what the ratings do. You don't have to do that.
Oh, but I enjoy it so much, and so do they.
Oh. I think
Trust me.
Oh.
I only do it once or twice a week.
Oh, I know. I heard it earlier this year. You did this earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to stop this. It doesn't matter if they like you, right? It matters that they call. It matters that they think.
Well, actually, I prefer the ones that dislike me to call. They're the ones that are the most fun.
It matters that their subject, or the subject that you're talking about, moves them. That's what matters. And you do that well.
Well, but you see, in the day and age that we live in, probably the most emotional topic in the Tampa Bay area is Lassiter. It shouldn't be. These people should be very concerned.
I don't think that's true.
These people should be concerned about
people.
the government ripping them off. They should be concerned about industry ripping them off. They should be concerned about a lot of things, but they aren't. So they sit around and they talk about Medicare and Lassiter and notch babies and
They talk
Lassiter.
about what do you mean Medicare and Lassiter? I'm not on Medicare, and I don't sit around and talk about Lassiter.
Well, you're probably one of the very few people that doesn't.
Oh, well, maybe I should. I'll
would think
try
so,
it.
yes. I think you'd like to be better if you do.
You do things that make people think, even if you're obnoxious, even if you're rude, which you are frequently, you make people think.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Largo. Hi, Larg. You're on the air at 970. 970.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Well, let me just say I think you have a great topic today.
So do I.
And
magnificent topic, actually.
Best one I can think of.
Me
and
too.
I hate to disappoint you, but I'm one of the guys that really like you. We have pictures of you in our family scrapbook, and you're one of the prime.
Wait a second. Pictures of me in the family scrapbook.
Yeah, I've taken photographs of you, and they've made it in with our family pictures.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have pictures of myself in my family scrapbook.
I could send you some.
That's all right. You don't have to.
But anyway, you're a big topic around our house every night. But the reason I called, Bob, I have a question for you that I've been wanting to ask you since I find you such a fascinating individual. I was wondering if you could tell me... Excuse me?
I was just saying smart young man.
Thank you. I was just wondering if you could tell me, like when you were growing up or in your formative years, the books that you had read that made an impression on you or perhaps maybe shaped your thinking or books.
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
In terms of fiction, Grapes of Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
Truman Capote's, the one about the murders in Kansas, In Cold Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, as much as I read these things occasionally. Oh, this is embarrassing. Even into my early 20s. I'm serious too. I really love the Hardy Boys. And if I could find one, I'd probably pick it up and read it today. To tell you the truth, I mean, just pure fantasy.
Are you a big reader these days? Is that type of literature, Bob?
No,
Not Hardy Boys.
No, I read very little fiction, unfortunately, because I do so damn much reading, and I'm such a slow reader that I don't really have a great deal of time for fiction. Another book that really, really got to me, it's not so much from my youth, read it about 5 years ago, actually, Leo Buscalia's Living, Love, and Life, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever read Henry Miller, any books by Miller?
Not that I can think of.
Oh, you should. I think you'd like it.
Well, I'll try to give it a try.
Yeah, try to do that.
Give it a try. Got to run, but I thank you much.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Okay. Garrett, what kind of books did you read when you... I'll bet you used to read the Nancy Drew mysteries, huh?
I read Henry Miller.
Really?
Tropic of Capricorn. Ooh. When I was an adolescent. Ooh.
I heard you talking with Harris this morning. You do Harris' show, too?
Yeah, my buddy Jack.
Your buddy Jack?
He really likes me, though. We go out and do things together.
Like what?
Oh, we go out for conferences and drink iced teas and look at foxes and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, sometimes he even invites me over to his house.
Really? Where does he live?
In a big house.
You don't know his address. I'll bet you don't know Jack Harris's address.
You too.
Oh, you're just Fibber. Yeah, then what is it?
I can't give it on the air, Bob. I'll give your address on the air.
Just give the damn traffic.
Let's see. What was that again? I've got it written down here.
I don't know why. Still gets to me. Actually, two more. Grapes of Wrath I mentioned. The Great Gatsby. Why, I cannot begin to tell you. I just love the story. I reread the book every couple of years. Anytime I can see that horrible, horrible motion picture, which I think is one of the greatest motion pictures of all time, I will see it. And another book that really, really got to me again as a kid, still does. I still try to reread it occasionally, Animal Farm, George Orwell. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hi, Tampa.
Hey, hello.
Hey.
Bob? Listen, I've been listening to you for years and never had the courage to call, but listen, the fact that you've got a Lassiter day has spurned this. I think listening to WFLA all day like I do, and I hear all of these other supposed talk show hosts, they've made you the topic of Tampa Bay, and I think in all fairness, seeing how that you give good airtime to all of the major topics of Tampa, that you certainly deserve some time.
Oh, yes, I do, too.
But the thing that impresses me most is going through a reasonable amount of training, that you are very professional in what you do, and a lot of people don't understand probably Bob Lassiter, the talk show host, the way they should, because you keep things moving, you stay on the topic, you don't put up with too much belligerence, and you definitely have your say and your opinion, no matter how controversial.
God, I'm so good sometimes. Oh.
And so all these poor guys that that have preceded you in the talk show today and those that are going to be talking behind you tonight that are listening, of course, trying to find out what old Lassiter's doing today.
Don't you really love that new promo that we're running with poor Tom Snyder and says, and then at 10 o'clock when the microphone cools down?
It's pitiful.
What is he saying?
Well, you see what happens. They taught me years ago. I used to have a problem when I first started becoming successful in business and managing a lot of people and trying to keep things going, that I discovered that with success I had a lot of people who bite me on the butt. And they were stabbing me in the back. And I really had a problem with that. And then one day a guy came to me that was quite wise and had had this happen to him for years and says, hey, look, as long as these people are biting you on the butt and stabbing you in the back, they're behind you.
That's right.
They can't do that when they're in the forefront. Then you'll be stabbing them in the back and biting them on the butt. And I figure as long as...
I don't mind a little nibble on the butt every now and then. It kind of gives me goosebumps, you know?
Yeah, it's trying to get your adrenaline flowing and kind of make you take 2 giant steps forward and you're that much farther ahead. But I really appreciate listening to your show through the years. I like your format. I like the way you handle topics. And I openly laugh sometimes going down the interstate listening to you on the way home for the way that you handle people. Because certainly I think that you apply the sweetness and the belligerence where it's necessary. And a lot of people say, boy, he's a real jerk.
And that guy said I'd lost my sense of humor.
I love it. You see, your sense of humor goes with the situation. A lot of people say, God, he's this way today, he's that way tomorrow. But it's more caller per caller, I think, than what it is any particular instance. And I want to take this opportunity to tell you I love your show. I like the way you handle yourself. And I think the station's real proud to have you. And for all those guys out there wishing they were ahead of you, they can keep on trying. I think you're number one.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to go.
Take care. There's something I just want to discuss with you. I meant to discuss it right when it came out of the 5 o'clock hour. There's something that bugs the hell out of me. I want to talk to you about regularity, okay? I tend to go at approximately the same time every day, and I'm going to assume that most of you tend to go at the same time every day. And I try very hard to regulate myself so that it coincides with when I'm doing other activities in the small room, like taking my shower. Well, there's something that just bugs the hell out of me. Here at the radio station, we have a facility, a men's facility at the end of the hall, which I usually visit at the top of the hour while the news is going on. And most of the time when I go in there, the seat is down, which I don't understand, because I would, leave it up. There are only so many people that work on this floor. And I would assume that, most of them do their, who wants to do it in the men's facility here? You do that kind of stuff whenever and wherever possible. I'm beginning to think that we have a lot of men here who sit down when they go in there, and it bothers me. It bothers me very much. And I think that perhaps we should have a survey. A survey asks all of us. Have you noticed the same thing, Michael?
I go downstairs as often as I can.
Are you using the executive washroom, huh, Serio?
Well, okay.
The one with a phone in it?
Now, wait a second. We've got 3 of the 5 men who normally work on this floor on the air right now. Richards, do you leave the seat up or down when you're finished in there?
Up.
Serio, up or down?
Up. Or either that or I won't touch it. If you've seen it, I won't touch it.
Well, that's my point. You see, and I tend to leave it up, too. So that means that either it's Zentel, who's working on the other side, or excuse me, I mean Mr. Larson on the other side, and or Schumann. Now, well, okay, there are the engineers too,
and the news people who float in and out during the day.
Well, do you think any of the news guys over there, go sitting down?
I really haven't surveyed them.
We're a minute late.
A couple do carry a bottle of Lysol or two.
Isn't it amazing? You see, since he's involved in this conversation, he doesn't care that we're a minute late. Yeah, later.
No, tell me now.
Not some new organization. Some batty old lady called and wants to start up a, Foxes for McHenry organization.
Foxes for McHenry?
Yeah, she wants to give out little cards, membership cards, all that kind of stuff.
And 8x10 glossies of me?
I doubt that. She didn't really seem like she wanted to spend a hell of a lot of money on it.
No, I'll supply those.
You will?
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to let her know.
My buddy Ted Webb will do that for me.
Gary McHenry, the world's most dangerous friend to have, standing by with a WFM.
News Radio 970 WFLA.
Oh, so many people waiting to talk about Lassiter. It wouldn't be fair to not go right back to the phones. Treasure Island. Hi, Treasure. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
It's been over a year since I talked to you. We're just
we're coming back on kind of vacation, and I'm from here, but I called you last year during the snowbird show.
Uh-huh.
Went to Minneapolis, and now in Columbus, but I've had the opportunity to go to a lot of major cities, Chicago, Milwaukee, Cleveland, and I want to tell you, there's no one holds a candle to Mr. Lassiter.
Well, that's true.
It's great to hear you again. My wife calls us a vacation, but I'm going around with my radio listening to the talking on WFLA from all the hosts. But why is it, Bob, maybe you can answer this question for me, why is it all these other talk radio markets, everyone is scared to be controversial?
Well, the truth of the matter is there are quite a number of people that hold a candle to me and several that hold candles far larger than mine. But you have stumbled upon the truth in the industry, and that is people are afraid. People are... To do this format takes several years for it to catch on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very expensive format. And there aren't an awful lot of people that genuinely have experience in it. There are a lot of talk stations. But there just aren't that many people in management, that many people in programming that know how to come in, know how to dance the fine line, and it's a real fine line. And you got to dance it every single day. And sometimes just your shadow going over that line causes a lot of problems. And for most people, they just don't want to get involved in it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bob, as far as I'm concerned, you're definitely the king. And it's just great to make our little vacation a little bit better to hear the Mad Dog one more time.
Ah, you're kind, and I appreciate it.
Thanks a million, Bob.
Thank you.
Take care.
One line available. It is in, where is it? Pinellas. Yes, that's right. The Flaming Dump. 461. I just love that. 461-9352. 461 WFLA. Tampa. Hi, Tampa. You're on the air.
Hello, Bob?
Yeah, hi.
Hey, Bob, I need to classify you if it's okay.
Sure.
Okay, I have to classify you as a Northeast liberal and a product of the 60s, the feel good, if it feels good, do it generation, or the burn it down rather than build it generation. The reason I say this, I got a reason.
Reasonably fair, yeah.
Okay. It's the way you have twisted the Constitution recently.
Oh, really?
And the Bill of Rights.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know, the statement about this owning guns, and that the people don't have the right to own guns. I was wondering really where you came up with that.
Real simple. The Constitution doesn't deal with the people. The Constitution deals with the states.
Well, wait a minute. The first 8 amendments, or the Bill of Rights to the Constitution, says that it gives the fundamental freedoms for every citizen, not states.
That's right. But
And
it
in
still
the
deals with the states.
Pardon?
It still deals with the states.
Well, wait a minute. The Second Amendment also says the right of the people, people, to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
That's right, but it's still dealing with the states.
You're saying, hey, you know, Amendment 1 talks about the freedom of the press and the freedom of talk show hosts and all that good stuff.
No, it doesn't deal with the freedom of talk show hosts at all. What the Constitution of the United States of America does is it sets the limitations between the powers between the federal government and the state government. And what the federal government doesn't reserve for itself, and the states can reserve for themselves. That's precisely what the Constitution is all about. And while it may speak in terms of the people, and it may speak in terms that you may interpret as being addressing individuals, that simply is not the case. Your Constitution is the Florida Constitution, okay?
I don't think so. I'm thinking I'm part of the people, and I'm an every citizen, and I have fundamental rights granted by the Bill of Rights to the Constitution. And again, I go back to the Northeast.
Well, yes, you do have fundamental rights. That is absolutely correct, but the Constitution has nothing to do with those.
The United States Constitution, Bill of Rights,
every human being has fundamental rights, sir. Every human being. You don't need any Constitution to have fundamental rights.
Well, yeah, but the first 8 amendments of the Constitution contain the fundamental rights and freedoms of every citizen in that state or otherwise. I think you might have,
That's right,
back in the 60s, you might have been smoking something that got to your brain there, buddy.
Well, sir, if you want to try to insult me, then I'm just going to hang up on you now and I'm going to sit here and rip you a new one where you sit down. You know, unfortunately, you just are an ignorant man. You're a stubborn, ignorant man. You have rights. Yes, sir, you indeed do have rights, but you don't have the right to insult me and suggest that, you know, I smoke stuff and consequently can't understand the Constitution. You, sir, are the one who just doesn't understand the damn thing. What the courts have held, sir, is that, of course, the states have a right to put out militias. The states also, sir, have the right, guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States of America, to allow their individual citizens to have guns. They also, sir, the states have the right to disallow it. That's what the Constitution does, sir. It gives the rights to the states to make those decisions. Sorry, bozo. Don't call me up and suggest that because I smoked dope back in the 1960s, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I do. I suppose maybe you were drinking some white lightning and it affected your brain back in the 1960s. Don Richards standing by at the WFLA News desk.
2 courts have now rejected Aubrey Adams' request for a stay. Adams is scheduled for execution at the state prison in Stark in the morning. William Stewart could be out of the Hillsborough County Jail this week. His bail's been reduced. Smooth countdown, but weather worries for the Atlantis crew. Florida lawmakers angry because of reports on Florida's high school dropout rate. We'll have details at 6. Don Richards, News Radio 970 WFLA. 970 WFLA, airborne traffic up to the very... Oh, did you lose your stewardess there, Gary? I'm sorry, Gary McHenry.
Another pack of almonds here, please. Traffic northbound 270.
It's a fairly sharp audience. You guys are pretty smart. And it almost makes me feel bad to sit here and say things like, well, you should wash your car because it's going to be sitting out there in the sun. And, you need to keep it clean because that'll keep the finish better and it'll make it worth more and it's not going to rot from inside out. And you people should understand all of that. And I'm pretty sure that you do. So really the only thing that you should need to know is where you're most likely to get the best deal in terms of getting your car washed. And the best deal in terms of getting your car washed should mean the best products, the best service, and a guarantee that you're not going to get out of there unless you're happy. The Grand Prix Car Wash is such a place. 3 locations to serve you. 1880 Gulf to Bay Boulevard in Clearwater. In Seminole, 10471 Park Boulevard. And in South Tampa, 3622 Gandy Boulevard. The Grand Prix Car Wash, a service-oriented company that wants your business this week, and even more importantly, they want it next week, too. So you can be real sure they'll take care of you this week. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to call you. First time I've called you, but I've listened to you an awful lot. And it's kind of humorous to me on your show when people call in, and don't know what the heck they're talking about. They try and make a comment on something that, whatever the topic you might be talking about for that day.
Well, it's humorous to us, too.
And another thing, have you ever read any books on by James Clavell?
Sure, Clavell. I've always heard it Clavell. You may be right. Sure, Shogun, King Rat.
Taipan?
Taipan, yeah.
That was my favorite of the four that I know of.
I didn't read Taipan. My favorite, of course, would be Shogun. That just blew me away.
Yeah. Taipan was when, well, we won't get into that. That'll be another show, I guess. I tell you what, why don't you sometime do a Gary McKendrick roast?
Because we've had a great deal of trouble getting him on the skewer. But if you could figure out how we could possibly, he's incredibly overweight. Oh, my God, guy probably weighs close to 700 pounds. We've had to put a third engine on the plane.
Maybe a wrecker to get him on the skewer?
Yeah, that might be. We need an awful big pit, but hey, maybe that flaming dump.
Yeah.
Whoa, why didn't we think of that earlier? Dan, the flaming dump. Yeah, good idea. Thanks, friend.
Yeah.
Take care. Off it is now to Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
This is Bob.
Yeah.
Bob, this is Mike.
Hi, Mike. Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to say that I do not like you as a talk show host.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Okay.
Sounds like a pretty bad caller to me, too.
But I do like the entertainment of talk radio. And I like listening to talk radio as opposed to the music that's on.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Besides thinking that you are arrogant and cocky, okay, which everyone has their right to do that, I think you put off your view as being the only right one.
Well, it is.
Well, again, that's in your opinion.
Well, I beg your pardon. Isn't your view the correct view?
Excuse me?
Isn't your view the correct view?
Well, my view may not always be the correct view. It's just what I believe.
You're sure it's correct, isn't it?
To the best of my knowledge, a lot of times.
Then why won't you grant me the same privilege?
I think that a lot of times you talk about things that you don't have the proper knowledge to talk about.
For example?
For example, once when you were talking about Pete Rose and the gambling, you were saying, who cares? It's only a game of baseball. And if it is only a game, then who cares if he gambled on it or not? Well, it is not a game, number one. It was a business. And if it's only a game, then it should be okay for people to fix the horse racing and the dog racing, because that is only a sport and a game.
Is life going to be altered if there's betting on baseball? Is that going to make life any better or any worse?
Well, is it going to make any better or worse if someone does something illegal as far as the horse racing?
Well, is it
going to make it any better or worse?
The fact that it's illegal is arbitrary.
Excuse me?
The fact that it is illegal is arbitrary. No one is damaged by betting on baseball. I mean, for example, it's not illegal if you steal someone's money because it's arbitrary. It's illegal because it's wrong.
Well, it's still wrong and it's still illegal, okay, and it should not be in the game of baseball. Now, that he should not